Welcome class to Introduction to Fashion 101. I'm your professor for today, and we will be analysing the outfits of fashion's brightest star, Dean Craig Pelton. Now, Craig Pelton is known for his avant-garde, off-the-wall expressions of self. He's a trendsetter in every sense of the word. He ushered in movements that reverberated through the industry like no one else. There is so much to be learnt about the way he composed outfits. He knows how to dress the human form. But fashion is not his only calling. Craig Pelton also balanced his work as a designer with heading up Greendale Community College as dean. He opposed fashion's consumerist nature and rarely sold any of his pieces. Instead, he was his own living showcase, and every time he strayed into the Greendale Community College study room, he made it his runway. Let's begin by examining some of his greatest looks. This piece comes from his 2009 autumn-winter collection called Mr. Winter. Here we see a flowing blue gown that drapes the body. The faux fur trim is a response to the industry's growing fascination with real fur. His stance on wearing only faux fur moved a generation of young people to protest the inhumane practices against animals by the fashion industry. This outfit also challenged the likes of Coca-Cola, mocking their jolly, puffy-cheeked mascot clad in red, the symbol of capitalist profiteering, if you will. This piece is titled Gag Gag and is said to have inspired Lady Gaga. The black PVC jacket with the red piping and gold hardware challenges the confused mess that was 2010's fashion. The shape of the jacket creates a clear silhouette that flatters the form. It's dark and evocative, and it feels inspired by character and story. This is a statement piece that was created in an era when leaving your house in espadrilles was considered okay. We all know the bees are dying. This striped yellow and black bubble dress calls us to remember that fact. The platform black boots, a sign of resistance, of someone taking a stand in the face of inactivity from governments. The black arms and legs illustrate the bee shrouded in death colours. Extinction is creeping ever closer if we do not act now. This is a protest piece which started the Silent Bee movement, which took place on January 27, 2011. To acknowledge the dying of the bees, everyone online refrained from using the letter B for a whole day, to illustrate the inconvenience of not having bees around. Here Craig wears a lady's Uncle Sam outfit, which he claimed to be his sister's. It combines discussions about patriotism and gender. Uncle Sam called men to war, and women stayed at home. Women's war efforts often undervalued, as they too had to be put to work. And yet women and men alike are asked to express the same patriotism. It begs the question, who is patriotism for? The cut of the garment itself is one of balance. Shorts to contrast the long sleeves. A large lapel in opposition to the tiny hat. This garment is a thing at odds with itself, which is precisely the point. Despite the message of patriotism Uncle Sam espouses, America is at odds with itself, wrestling between the principles it founds itself on and its current reality. Craig was at times too ambitious even for his own good. This piece caused some controversy. A white man trying to lead discussions on POC solidarity, which many believe does not even exist. The public felt he was speaking out of turn and taking up space where he shouldn't be. He would later approach this topic of race to better reception in a later collection we will discuss in due course. This is a monochromatic feast for the eyes, inspired by Brazilian carnival wear. The giant ruffled sleeves are impossible to ignore. They are a call to attention, especially when coupled with that headpiece. The harmonious colour scheme of blue, purple and green in the sleeves is inspired. The exposed midriff is another call to attention. The combination of the sleeves, headpiece and exposed stomach encourage the viewer to follow the outfit cyclically. The outfit teaches us how to look at it. The busy top half is balanced with the bottom half, which is in darker, calmer colours. But there's still a statement to be made here. Those go-go boots elevate the leg, and they pronounce themselves just as much as the headpiece and sleeves. The cropped leather jacket with the leather trousers, mask and stilettos are a bold look. There's an interplay between modesty and the revealing. The whip is symbolic of the power struggle between Craig's nature to be desired, as well as to go unseen. He is hiding but not, he is visible but not fully. He's teetering in his stilettos, demonstrating the tightrope walk of his experience. These are pieces from his collection, Paradigms of Human Memory. Here's Craig calling on the past to inspire the future, and he ties the collection together with this red colour, accented by white. Most designers only go back a couple of decades, but to break out of the monotony of the familiar, we must look back further. In doing so, we see new ways to manipulate fabrics, to create silhouette. Craig realised this and cast his eye deep into the past, which is what made him such a visionary in the fashion world. For this piece, Craig took influence from greats like Diana Ross. The gown is flowing and drapey, it's sequined, it's impossible to ignore in that vibrant purple. It's a celebration of music and movement and showmanship. This is a gown designed for someone who has always wanted to embody the disco ball, to be at the centre of any good party. This collection is known as Bodily Redux. It is a study of the idea of oneness and the concept of the inception of self. Craig Pelton created outfits in which he was more himself, more serious, more professional, hence the oversized jacket and the facial hair. The idea of constructing the self overtook his actual personhood. In examining his identity, he became a caricature. Playing on this idea, he went as far as to find men of other races and builds to cosplay as him, taking the signature features of his outward identity and turning them into costume. A costume that is less and less convincing with each new iteration. All of this begs the question, who are we? What are we composed of? And are we replicable? After the success of Bodily Redux, Craig Pelton decided to explore the duality of man, how we can be both two things at once without losing any parts of ourselves. Here we see the feminine and the masculine forming one whole. The cane Craig holds here is about how we strike a balance between the parts of ourselves, and which parts are we willing to show the world and which parts do we hide? Who are we willing to be judged as? The Aviator, a look at freedom and movement. The jacket is open in a low V. It's an unabashed and an unbothered thing. Coupled with the open midriff, there is a real abandon of self-consciousness. He adorns prescription glasses as well as the aviator glasses on his head as an accessory. It says to the viewer, look and then look some more. The aviator glasses on his head are rendered useless, and it demonstrates the futility of other people's judgments in how we choose to navigate the world physically. It's a bold and confident look. She is meant to draw attention. She's meant to be seen. This outfit is perfectly coordinated, from the hot pink crop top with the silver lining and the blue piping, which matches the blue shorts and pink socks. This is a colour block moment, in its simplest form, using the smallest amount of fabric. Simple pieces paired together through their strong use of colour. This piece is created in response to our changing media landscape. Here Craig is dressed as Donna Reed, who ruled the screen for the span of 40 years in her career. But in today's landscape, who is she? And where do her characters fit? Here is a black and white woman outside of her intended context. She makes no sense in our Technicolor world. She may even seem corpse-like. How our viewing habits have changed, how our depictions of domesticity have changed. The graduation gown led to the revival of the shift dress. To celebrate the form of clothes is not solely about tight body-fitting pieces. One can wear looser, flowy gowns in lighter fabrics and still celebrate the human body. We can be free and comfortable in the clothes we wear, and we can do so without being drowned in fabric. The long sleeves balance the short dress, and here the accessories play as well. There's that monochromatic hat moment, and the contrasting yellow tie around the waist. It's a simple, sophisticated look that is not laboured. It's the beginning of easy chic as it would come to be known. This is Craig's second approach to race discussions. He wore this peanut outfit as part of a performance piece, in which he rapped. During the rap, he unpacks the capitalist lie that keeps the poor disenfranchised, the worst afflicted being the black community. Dressed as a peanut bar, a cheap commodity to signal how talk is cheap in this economy and social climate. He acknowledges the lack of work the government is doing to face such injustices. This performance art piece won Craig a Nobel Peace Prize. This comes from his Everyman collection. Here we examine the idea that we are copies of ourselves. Worn down by aging, we reduce ourselves to our fewest expressive components. We try to dress up the monotony with subtle changes in colour and variations, and we tell ourselves this is expression. We stop trying to be daring and adventurous. We have found what works for us, and that will hold us over until our eventual demise. This is the real death, the death we live every day before we die. So class, that was a short breakdown of the influence and visionary power of Craig Pelton. For your assignment, you must pair up and create a diorama of your favourite pieces created by him. It can be one mentioned in class or one you research yourselves. It is due in 2 weeks. If you would like to ask any questions about the homework outside of lessons, you can contact me here. I'm also on Patreon if you would like to access more materials. If you have any questions, you can come see me after class. Lesson dismissed.